ended up talking about Carly Fiorina and how she really how she introduced herself. I mean, I think it's pretty good that she was in that small pool of candidates for the early debates, and so I think it's pretty good. It's good for her, you know.
She did a great job, and being on a smaller debate field like that, where she was clearly the clear-cut winner there, giving her the opportunity to showcase what it is she can do as a business person, what the success she's had, and failures along the way.
Right.
Really putting her in a strong position to be at the big table for the next debate. And again, still standing on the whole being a business person, I think she's going to have some really good conversations with some folks next month.
And she was able to she was asked a question about her being fired from Hewlett Packard, and she really explained herself. And she said, yes, I was fired, but I was fighting. You don't know how it's like to be in the boardroom with this, with these people,
right.
Fighting with the status quo. And that's what she said. She had to fight. Just like the establishment that we're
right.
fighting with. So I think that's pretty good, So we're still gonna find out about her, and being candid, being open, being honest, and I really like that about her.
What would you do if we actually had a ballot that had Hillary Clinton and Carly? I always refer to her as Carly because I have so many challenges with her last name. What would you do with something like that? That would be interesting.
Oh, that would be interesting. We know that Hillary Clinton's like being honest, being transparent.
She
it's
lacks
not.
that.
Yeah.
That's not her strength.
I can't even speak. Sometimes I'm speechless. I don't know. I mean, she's been in this business, political, world for so long, and she's still not figured out that if you are not honest, they're gonna find out. It's gonna come out. We are now in the Twitter world and social media and stuff. You can't be hiding your server, emails, Benghazi. Oh my gosh, your donation for your foundation. Come on, you can't hide this thing.
Nothing can be hidden anymore.
No.
I think if you wanted to hide something, you literally have to walk up to somebody, hand them a wad of cash, but make sure you do it under the cover of night with a trench coat and a ski mask on. It's a reverse robbery, it's going to be a stealth donation. And that was one of the things that Trump was mentioning quite clearly last night, that he had donated to everybody in that room. Now, of course, everybody in the room says,
yeah. And he's saying this, the people that can say this, he's saying it. He's telling people, oh yeah, this is what I've done,
Whether or not that's true or not, at the end of the day, I don't think it matters. I don't care who a donation has been made to or not. I found it entertaining that everybody in that room says, no, you didn't donate to me. At the end of the day, they all share that same vision that things are just not going well because of the Washington establishment.
Right.
But again, still important to pick one of those folks to lead the country.
So I can see you now moving forward, pairing up the two women.
It would just be an interesting thought.
Right.
I still think also though the next debate, because business and politics, they mix like oil and water.
Right.
And initially, if you go way back, the whole idea of the office of President of the United States was to make it so that the common man can run. And I read something about that earlier today, about originally it was designed so that anybody can run. You don't necessarily have to be a successful business person.
Right.
You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a career politician.
Or you attended Harvard or Princeton.
Right. It's
Yale,
designed for anybody to run. So the fact that we have a businessman who's had successes and failures, a businesswoman who's had successes and failures, along with an insanely large group of politicians, former neurosurgeons. I'm excited to see how this develops.
Yeah.
Now, I still think there's time for Emerge to enter the political scene and throw your hat into the ring, because everybody else seems to be running for.
You should really think about it.
I've got too many ghosts in that closet. Holy mackerel.
Oh yeah, this is really nice. It's so huge, and it's very exciting like that.
And it's diverse.
Yeah, it is.
There's people who've got Chris Christie. you know people are going to talk about some of his political decisions,
Right.
and closing bridges. You
Yeah.
know the Bushes are going to go and talk about his name. You know that when talking about Walker, they're going to talk about some of his decisions that he's made in his past.
Right.
Of course, Trump, we know everyone's going to say, dude, you're a movie star. But here's something interesting. People said for a long, long time, and they're still saying it about Donald Trump, is he serious about running for president?
Right.
I can remember when Schwarzenegger was running for the governorship of California.
I remember that.
People were like, oh, he's not serious.
Right,
he's not going
right.
to do a great job. That was a recall vote that he
Right,
ran in and won.
That's a great example.
Jesse the Body Ventura, a wrestling fan, ran to be the governor of Minnesota and won.
Right.
He was there for an extended period of time. And let us not forget Ronald Reagan
Right.
was an actor before he became a politician. So there is a large collection of
Right.
people who have been in business and made the move into a political office, whether it be business as in business, or in Hollywood in one way, shape, or form, or a wrestler in Hollywood, or a bodybuilder in Hollywood. So I don't think people need to focus on the President of the United States being just somebody who's been a lifelong politician.
Right.
And as was said last night, if that's what we're looking at, put Hillary in now.
Yeah, there
She's
you
been
go.
there forever,
Right.
and she'll continue to be there forever.
Yeah.
She's had colossal failures and
Right.
colossal successes and a lot of colossal baggage. So if you
Right.
take all that out of the equation, go back to what I said earlier, it's the best person for the job. I don't give a damn if they've been in Hollywood on a wrestling mat. So
Yeah, and eventually,
Open season.
yeah, and I think eventually, like him staying true to himself, once he start acting like a politician, that could be problematic for him. So if he just, be who he is, I think it's good, and a little bit of polishing maybe. So
maybe just a little bit, but
Yeah.
here's the thing, it's real life.
Right.
Everybody on that stage, with maybe one, for sure, maybe two exceptions, had somebody prepping them for the debate. So let's look at real life. Is anybody going to prep them to make a high-profile decision on an international issue? For example, take everybody that was on those two stages last year, put them in the Oval Office, and you now are put into a position to order an attack that's going to kill Osama bin Laden. Is there somebody there prepping them to make that decision? Absolutely not. Decisions are being made based on the facts at hand, surrounding themselves with the right people, taking all that information on hand, and then saying yes or no.
right.
So I think saying so-and-so was not prepped or so-and-so was clearly prepped, I think is a silly statement, which is why I love the fact that you've got these random questions out there. Now the moderators, man, there was a lot of hatred being thrown,
That's what you think?
thrown around last night.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yes,
Don't
yes.
get me wrong. There was a
Right.
lot of hatred going on.
Yeah, but what I like about that is they're preparing, this kind of strategic, this moderators. I think it's pretty strategic and deliberate. But what I like about it is that the way I look at it is eventually these candidates will face tough questions, and so for them, like for Donald Trump, go ahead and throw this question to him, and now it's passed. He can.
Sure. And really, I don't think the challenge with him was so much him not answering questions fully or even answering questions well. I think a lot of the dynamics that made people look at, is this the candidate the right person to move on to the next level, was the way they responded and reacted to each other, not to the questions. Chris Christie had some amazing interactions last night that made me wonder where his head was. Everybody seemed to have some kind of an interaction with Mr. Trump. And I thought that was interesting. And when you look at the first debate, there were some interesting interactions and interesting facts given out as well that put Carly in a position to really put herself up there. So I think there's some amazing things that came out of that, and it really didn't stem from the initial question, but it was from the interactions with each other and the conversations that were had among the candidates, and that's what really made that debate exciting.
Right. But I always ask you about the roadblocks, or the way he treat women based on this questioning and based on his previous, comments. I don't think it's going to help him. So, but he will not back down because that's, he's very open on what people are thinking. He just, he's
He's going to take a little bit of a hit, and from the get-go last night, that was one of the first questions that was presented to him, and right away, Mr. Trump made a comment about Rosie O'Donnell, which actually surprised me that he brought it up that way. But I think what it really did is loosen the mood. But again, he spoke what was on his mind. He spoke the first thing that was on his mind. He didn't have to look too advised. I think there's definitely going to be some kind of a hit that's going to be taken, maybe a little bit of backlash. There's always going to be a woman's right group that's going to not be a supporter. And if he was there wearing a fur coat, there'd probably be an animal rights group that would be there as well. Here's my advice, and this was something that was brought up last night when those comments were brought up, is this the type of person that would be running for office? We had a president, for crying out loud, okay, that was having oral sex with an intern, okay? That actually happened. So at the end of the day, I think the most important
Did anybody care at the end of the day? There you go.
No.
Who is he now? He's like...
Who is the right person for the job?
Exactly.
Break it down to that. Who's the right person for the job? If you don't feel that this candidate is the right person for the job based on something he said on a television show for entertainment, for entertainment.
That's what he was saying,
Now, entertainment, ratings, I'm sure there's a large portion of that is strictly him speaking, but also knowing that this is a show, it is entertainment. I'm sure people didn't put Jesse Ventura in office and say, well, maybe he's going to take people and slam them to the mat. Okay? I know somebody in St. Louis who was elected to the school board. And people were curious because, is he the right person for the job? Because he happens to own 5 adult nightclubs. He got elected to the job not because allegedly he's going to have schoolgirls running around in exotic underwear, but because he was the best person for the job. Okay? Similar, this is somebody who made some disparaging comments towards a particular gender. Is he the best person for the job? Now, if you can answer that question with a no based on everything else, cast your vote. If you can answer that question with a yes based on all the other pieces, cast your vote.
You're pretty good. You're time and time. I mean, I can see how your arguments, and how your examples. I mean, it's true, And I think we're learning a lot from it. I mean, things that we, it's pretty informative. You are pretty good.
I think at the end, part of politics is smoke screens and getting people to look at something shiny in another place. And if you break it down to this is a job interview, forget about political party. Who's going to do this job best? Because you, Mr. and Mrs. Taxpayer, are hiring this person for the next 4 to 8 years. Do you want to pay them $400,000 a year for the next 4 to 8 years? You've got to pick the right person. Because even though you say, oh, it's your tax dollars, if somebody came to your house every year expecting you to write a check for a portion of that money, you'd sit here and really think about it. So put yourself into that perspective. If that's how your taxes are taken, you want to make sure you've got the right person in there.
Well, me, I just like you said, we're going to keep looking, we're going to keep talking about it. And me, I am very excited. I have not made up my mind, but I am.
It's early.
It's too early, but I'm looking for someone who's really capable of taking on not just from globally. We have so much problem going on, and I am looking for someone who is strong, who is transparent, who is honest, and
that's what we need. And I'll tell you, after watching the Iran deal, President Obama
we have to talk about that. We still have to talk about that.
It's. I think it's extremely clear that you're right. We do need somebody who is strong, who's transparent, who's not going to make a deal based on baloney. And I'll tell you, what I watched last night was nobody on that stage, either stage, was going to make a deal with the devil based on baloney.
Oh, I don't think so. So I'm excited for the next week's conversation.
Me too.
All right. So see you soon.
Thank you.
All right. This is Merch.
I'm Jason.
Bye.